Welcome to Mendezville Live, with something to talk about. Here is Rudy Mendez. What's going on, Mendezville Live? We got a few things to talk about today. Hopefully, everyone is doing great out there. Uh, I really wasn't going to come on today, but I got a message. There's a message. We got to talk about this COVID-19, this back to school, the decisions that were made politically from different school districts. We got to talk about the new candidates coming up for school board and one of the school boards. So first and foremost, let's get that started so we can get out of the way. There was an announcement yesterday about two new candidates running for school board in the La Jolla ISD school district. So we wish them luck. It's going to get interesting. We will touch more analysis on that and see the pros and cons, character, and all those things, why and why not. And we'll see. We'll try to inform voters as best as possible. And of course, if you've been following me for the course of the commissioner's race, my goal is always to be as objective as possible when I deliver information and point of views, which there's a political issue that I want to talk about, but we're going to wait for that at a later time. Number two, COVID-19. The decisions were made across the valley today with some school districts to postpone it, to start the first 3 weeks virtually, which I think we got to commend them out there because I'm sure they're in a big stressful situation right now and making those decisions. And bottom line, I think that's the best decision that could have been made by everybody across the board. I heard somebody, who was it? Los Fresnos about Labor Day, but I think that's the same thing as a 3 week delay. So that's pretty awesome. There's a lot of scenarios that we got to talk about. And we're going to touch base. I have one of my friends of mine who's tech savvy on school districts and all that stuff. He didn't want to come on, but he's going to go ahead and text me he's already texted me a few things of what things we need to consider going into the virtual thing. But it was a great decision. What leads me to this dilemma with the COVID-19 and being virtual. What are parents going to do? What are teachers going to do? And I'm going to start off this segment of the COVID-19 and what do we do with what happened to me and my wife when she got home today. If you don't know who my wife is, her name is Elena Mendez Chapa. Some of you know her from back in the day. She is an ICU director at Mission Hospital. She came in today. I could tell her eyes were swollen, a little teary-eyed. She had a very stressful day. She's seen people die at very high numbers compared to regular things, and it's stressful, and she's struggling with it emotionally in that sense. 30-year-olds. She saw something 30 our age. Excuse me. And it's tough. It's tough, the phone call she's getting. And with that being said, the first thing she told me was, our kids are not going to go to school. Our kids are not going to go to school. They're going to be at home. We're going to have to figure out a way I have a first grader and I have el nueve, he's going to be going to pre-K. So I guess Levy's probably not going to go to school this year. But the oldest one, who's supposed to start second grade, she's not going to touch the campus. Maybe not until January. We'll see. I think as parents, we're in a very tough decision. And with that being said, one of the dilemmas I have is, am I going to go back to work? Because if my kids aren't going to go home, are not going to go to school, I got to figure that out. We talked about it, me and her, and we said, I can go to work and follow the protocols and save mask and make sure I take my vitamins, minerals, make sure my immune system is up to par. Because you never know. But she just straight out said they're not going to go to school. And I understand that. And she's seen things that most of us aren't. I know there's people out there that did get sick and have already fought through it. And there's people that have not. The hospitals are at capacity. Nurses are struggling. They're stressed. They're overworked. They have too many patients. The equipment. I mean, it's bad. The people that really know about this are the people in the hospitals. People that work in the hospitals. The medical field. And I think when we take advice, I think those are the best people to take advice from because they're seeing it every day. And that's because we're just seeing the Memorial Day weekend and the week after that and the 2 weeks after that. We still got the 4th of July rush coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks. So that's going to be interesting, and those numbers are going to be interesting. What I think personally, on a personal note, is we need to close it up. We need to close shop. Texas needs to close or figure out ways to where minimize the traffic. 10% of people can go in or only on certain days or minimize the hours of when people can do business. Or people can keep it open and take that risk. I know a lot of people are out there, well, I'm not going to get sick. And I was one of those. I was one of those. I'm not going to get sick. I'm just worried about making sure I take the correct supplements, the correct vitamins, the correct minerals, whatever it may be, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, all these things. But we're worried. We're worried, and I have 2 weeks to decide what I'm going to do. I have to call my superiors and figure out what options I have as a teacher and how I can adjust those options to being a parent and making sure that I stay alive, my kids stay alive. So that those are scenarios. Those are scenarios that are going on in my head. And then I thought about this. What if 75% of parents decide not to go to school or their kids not to go to school if they had that option? Like, no, they're going to stay home. Kids are not going to go to school. It's a lot easier said than done. I'm sure a lot of parents have to go to work because at the end of the day, we all have to provide for our families, the bills and roof over your head and meals and all those things. So it does get difficult. Everyone is in a different situation, but we shall see. I think my best option right now in my case is I'm a firm believer in red shirting or the holdback. So I think my daughter will continue in her regular schedule as she's going to go to second grade. And then I guess I'll probably just go, you're going to repeat second grade. And my excuse is, well, she was in virtual learning all year long. And I don't think that was good for her development as a person. But who knows? We're all different in that aspect, right? Now, with that being said, or on our next topic is the online learning. How is that going to work? Let's see now. I've got the notes from my tech here on virtual learning, and some of the things he messaged me were, we have to make sure that everybody has internet, fast internet. Everyone. When teachers go online, we are the server and the students are the client. The teacher must have good upload speed and the student good download speed. Not everyone has tech, Spectrum, or AT&T. Not everyone has access to the internet. So that's going to be a challenge, and I'm sure different school districts in the area have already thought of that. But I asked them what are other things parents and teachers can start doing before the school year starts. And that's one thing my friend mentioned. My buddy Joaquin Angel Solis, my wife, check this one out. This is what he sent me. My wife and I are working on finalizing our wills. Hey, you know what? All kidding aside, that might be an issue. That might be something as precautionary measures. You never know. I mean, the people that my wife is seeing die just from one day to the next. And those are things to consider. So that it's tough. It's tough. And I think we didn't do it right. We followed the lead from our government, and they were wrong. Our leaders at the state level and national level, they were wrong. It wasn't time. We had that false sense of security that I mentioned before in another broadcast. We had the false sense of security because we didn't see it, because we were quarantined. I think we need to slow it down. We need to have some guidelines to slow it down, from keep people from going out about the way we just all of a sudden took off and opened Texas again like it was no big deal. So that's something to consider. Let's see here. We have to, let's see, my buddy, my techie, they will ask teachers if they will teach inside their own classrooms on campus, and students at home, teachers can use the school internet and they have access to their classroom stuff. So basically, teach, you go to class, teach it, and hopefully, and then you have your students online live. And I think Personally, I think that's the best thing to do. Keep the students away from the teachers. According to the numbers, according to the data, and I still think it's false data because students have not gone and congregated amongst each other. But I think that's the best option to keep teachers and students away because, of course, according to the data, teachers are a little bit higher risk than students, and that's what the numbers are saying. But who knows? That could be different in a few months. Once the schools open and once everybody goes back to school. And the biggest thing about this opening and virtual learning is the sports. That's gonna be a big one. I don't know if anyone's ever just said, you know what, let's just not have sports. Or maybe I thought about this one is when is the Rydell helmet or Riddle helmet gonna come up with a Top Gun or airplane headset mask? So you put on your helmet and instead of the chin strap, it's a chin strap with a mask like the jet pilots have. That'd be something to somebody. I don't have contact to the helmet companies, but maybe that's another thing to consider. Is hey, strap them on with a mask, just the way the fighter pilots do. Uh, that's about it on the issue with the technical virtual stuff. Of course, there's a lot more issues. Uh, I know our district had buses traveling around with Wi-Fi. I personally don't know how effective that was. It may have been. It might have not. It may have been. It may have not. I don't know. But hopefully, I'm going to try to see if maybe we're going to have access to some of those directors. Let me see. Well, they're commenting over there amongst themselves. Let's see what else. My techie. Schools need Chromebooks, not iPads for online school. I guess Chromebooks are not as no what schools need Chromebooks, not iPads for online school. So I guess the iPads may not be as effective according to my technical um, source here. Wi-Fi signals do not penetrate blocked houses. Wi-Fi signals do not penetrate block houses. Oh, los de bloque. Is that what you mean, buddy? So I guess the Wi-Fi signal, we got to be careful on that. So those houses that are made of brick or the block, the Wi-Fi signals. Oh, are you doesn't penetrate? I guess maybe he's talking about the buses. So there are different many options with this virtual learning. It's going to be 3 weeks. Personally, I think schools shouldn't open until January at Mendezville ISD. My make believe comments in my profile, I mentioned Mendezville ISD will not open until January, and I think that would be the best thing. But of course, then you have all these other factors. It's a mess. But then again, we are in a very different circumstance. One last thing to give my buddy Fidel Trevino some insight or give him some airtime is he mentioned in the comment, in one of my comments, was that uh, he wanted shower curtains in the boys' locker room. And I mentioned at Mendezville, we have 80 showers with shower curtains, individual showers for everybody. Of course, that's a big expense. I don't think that's even possible. At Mendezville, it is. But with that, I want to give Fidel Tremino a shout out in the sense that he always comments is some pretty good ideas. Yeah, I know he's very helpful with his son's team and the team there at our school. But when it comes to recruiting, he also mentioned that there's a student that might think about moving, and I want to touch a little bit of a bigger conversation that needs to be is recruiting and parents picking and choosing where they want to go to school nowadays. I know one of the main competitors is a charter school Idea in the area. Idea Charter School is one of the main competitions for public schools. Uh, School districts are losing a lot of students to those schools, and I think things that we need to consider is maybe what are we doing not to attract students to come to your. I mean, and this is across the board, across the valley. Is what it's not about what we're doing to entice people to come to certain districts. To certain districts, not all of them, but certain districts. Not about how you make them come here. Maybe we should be looking at marketing as how to make sure that they don't leave. Keep the ones that are here. Keep the ones that are here from facilities and programs and teaching and self-esteem and winning, all these other things that come into play when it comes to recruiting. But that's a whole other topic for another. That's a good hour's worth of discussion. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Fiel Trevino and his comment. Really appreciate it. So with that, with those topics, there's a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of things to mention, and a lot of things to consider. I just thought I'd mention it. My biggest message for tonight was COVID-19 is taking over the hospitals. People are dying. We're not going to send our kids to school. We're not going to take that risk. Our kids will be at home. And I don't know how everyone else, what other kind of situations people are in, but I just want to share that COVID-19 is serious. And in the hospitals, nurses are stressed, doctors are stressed, the equipment is running short, not enough equipment, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. We'll continue, Paul. We'll continue seeing the news and all these things, and we'll see, guys. With that being said, I bid you guys good night. Thanks for listening. Or tomorrow morning if you're watching, shoot me some comments, see what else we can talk about later.